Welcome to India Education Forum. I am Shardul Rani, Deputy Editor for India Education Forum, and with us we have Professor R.S. Sangwan. He is an Indian biochemist, professor, and agriculture biologist. Dr. Sangwan has made significant contributions to the field of material science, specifically in the area of functional material and energy storage. Dr. Sangwan has also been actively involved in promoting and innovative scientific research in India, having served as a member of various government committees and advisory boards. And this interview, we will be discussing Dr. Sangwan's perspective on the role of generative AI in education and how it can be leveraged to enhance the learning and the outcome in the field of education. So thank you so much, Dr. Sangwan, for joining us. It's been a pleasure to host you.
Okay, at the outset, I'll say by my own education, I am a biochemist. And this is biochemistry is one of the earliest interdisciplinary subject. I worked on bioprocess technology, value-added products from residual or underutilized biomass from agriculture and agri-industry, and a lot of work on nutraceuticals and other industrial products from plants.
Excellent. Okay, so as we discussed, we are going to learn about your perspective on the role of generative AI. So as we must be hearing, generative AI is all over the news lately. Everything people are saying that generative AI might even replace many jobs and jobs are at stake. But it's just like when the computers came in, people were threatened that the computers are going to steal their job. But we in today's industry 4.0 have learned to work over and around it and made computer an essential part of our working. So I would like to know your opinion on how do you envision generative AI improving the learning experience for students, and what specific application do you see having the greatest impact?
I think generative AI, as we talk in every field, artificial intelligence is, we look at all solutions from this technology. But as concerns education, there are some kind of a concerns which are usually being expressed, particularly after coming up some of these tools or platforms like ChatGPT or chatbot or Lensa. But these are actually an early reactions and not comprehensive reactions after studying the impact on the near term and the long term. As you said, basically the same story started with is when the computerization started, say probably it will take up jobs, but we all see how computerization actually has generated large number of jobs. It's not only the jobs, the kind of the tire of what we say, and literacy has grown several steps up compared to the times when I was a student in a school or a college. That the kind of the expression of potential of the talent from the young generation has come up after the computerization and digital kind of a technology has come into. Same way in artificial intelligence, we say it is very useful in many applications from healthcare, agriculture, e-marketing, and whatnot. In education, we look at it, we only look at some of only one view of this in terms of how to actually make an assessment of students. Will there be actually some kind of a transparency, whether what the creativity, what a student writes, is his or her own learning, expression of his or her own learning, or is it some kind of a app used to do that? I think that is just a very narrow view of it. Look at it in a larger perspective. Actually, it calls for many questions, many challenges it poses, not to the students, but to the teachers.
Yes.
When we look at it in a different way, this generative AI must be incorporated into education. If we do not incorporate into education and wisely and rightly, we are not going to harvest the benefits of the technology. There are challenges into it for education, particularly for educationist teachers, because when we look at today some kind of a negative aspect of it, we are looking at technology, the front end, but the education system, the evaluation system as the conventional one. It calls for a new methods of teaching. How can you use this technology to improve teaching, to improve the learning process for the learners, for the students? The kind of things which teachers used to express in a blackboard have come into PPT mode in a diagrammatic way. It's a higher level of expression of those models, those expression into large textbook, into diagrams, into models. So this is not only simplification of understanding, it is also a wider coverage of the syllabus and in a shorter time. Its a quality will definitely improve with this.
Yes. So as you mentioned, that there might be piracy concerns when the students use generative AI, like ChatGPT. So how important do you think it is to educate the educators about the generative AI? Because when we see in today's industry, there's a large skill gap between the education and the curriculum that is being taught and the industry skills that are in demand in the current market. So how do you think that the educators should be upskilled in order for them to incorporate generative AI into the curriculum?
I think this is, let us look at this topic in a different perspective. The knowledge on each subject is growing every day. The amount of data or amount of information which has to be converted into a knowledge and given as a class, to the students, the volume is increasing. Now, to bear this volume more wisely, you require tools. And AI is one of the tools that can help so that the students, they get a full coverage of the syllabus without missing it, but in a more systematic way so that they can learn it from the beginning to the front end. Now, teachers need to evolve at the same speed as which technologies are evolving. If we remain ourselves the teachers in a static or move at a much lesser speed compared to the opportunities of technology use are coming up, there is a gap. And this gap actually becomes the gap itself raises the concerns that it is not in correct line. But actually we need to move fast in synergy with the developments that happen so that we can harvest the benefits of technology. So the teachers must actually learn these technologies and can kind of an application exposure so that when they teach it, they use this technology for the students.
Absolutely agreed, sir. Absolutely agreed. So we can say that generative AI should be incorporated into education. What career opportunities do you see generative AI bringing in the next Industry 5.0?
I think the question is, when we start learning ABC, traditionally, today's ABC starts much ahead of it. The students who graduate using this technology as a routine in their course curriculum will be better positioned to serve the society and the industry using this technology in whatever industry he or she intends to go, because for him or her, this is not something new. They have been practicing all through their educational stream. But actually, it gives a better exposure to the students' learning, because what we know today is who sets the question papers. I will come back to the same thing which we concern you. Who sets the question paper is a teacher. Now, human mind definitely has a limit of putting up these things together in a short time, because time is also, there is a time bar. Tomorrow's question, I'm sure, will not be set by teachers as such, will be set by the generative AI, and teachers will have a bigger role in it to have a curative part of it. So the question papers will be more randomized. The types of questions that will emerge, which will be of a new type, not the traditional type, whichever comes to one mind. Now it's a question of, it is a collection of all minds, what are possible questions put up to the students, and how they answer it will definitely reflect correctly reflect their understanding of the subject comprehensively. not like one subject or a second, one chapter or a second chapter, one unit or a second unit. Definitely, I'm going to say there's a bigger role for teachers. There is a bigger opportunity actually to how to make this technology useful for the society in education sector. It is already working in business, commerce, e-marketing. It is already working.
Yes.
But in education, there is a huge scope, and this scope will be in terms of have a curative part of it, and technologies will definitely improve, will create new jobs. Some of the jobs you and me cannot actually imagine today. Those kind of jobs will be generated through this, and this will be this will be a next higher level of literacy in the society.
True. 100% agreed. Also, you are very right on the point of generative AI providing personalized learning experience to each individual student, because generative AI is what it is doing is it's taking the data that it has learned from the World Wide Web and from the prompts that the users are giving it. And then it is personalizing it. So if we ask it to generate questions, it can gather data from multiple sources and generate questions accordingly, providing a very specific and randomized examination paper to the students. It can help with the assessments as well. So very rightly said, sir, that many teachers are going to benefit from the rise of generative AI. And it is indeed a very exciting time for education.
I think in times to come, the individual interaction which today with the teacher, we say in face-to-face, it is going to be a reality that students will interact with teacher in the form of a generative AI once you have the correct input data going into these AI platforms. Because basically it's a machine learning is based on data which you get it. So the question, the challenge is that actually the right type of data should go into it so that the inferences that come out on the new, whatever generative kind of thing that come out, they should be based on, say, 99.9 correct data. So this is how is a bigger challenge. And this data will come from teachers. So this data will come from course curriculum. This data will come from what they teach. So I think a huge lot of scope. It will be a convenience for teachers. Now, how much time a teacher spends on teaching, and how much on the collateral activities or auxiliary activities to academics, taking attendance, putting into it. Who knows, tomorrow's teacher is simply go and teach and discuss with the students this or this. There will be an automation that class attendance will be automatic face recognition and all that happening directly going into the academic branch. So teacher is simply to teach it.
Yes. So generative AI is here not to steal teachers' jobs, but to empower them, is what we are saying.
Exactly.
Yes. Very excellent statement made. So then do we see generative AI becoming the new normal in the education over the upcoming years? As you mentioned that teaching and generative AI will go hand in hand. What preparations will student need to do to keep up with the new trend of generative AI? What is that the student is supposed to be doing now to be relevant in the current job market?
What I feel is that for the teachers, there should be actually some kind of a regular training from basics to a higher level, so that they can be well acquainted with the applications of it. Many of the applications actually will come from the teachers once they are actually used to, we are well trained into it. Once they adopt the whole technology, many applications will emerge from the classroom. Many will emerge from the interaction that will happen in the classroom when this technology is actually incorporated into it. The kind of benefit that we see for now, I think there are possibilities that there would be questions in each subject on this generative AI itself. There are many new things. Who knows, tomorrow teacher uses an AI, generative AI, to write a one page on the topic, and there could be error into it. There could be natural errors into it because it is a technology platform which is not perfect. So there is one curative part for the teachers how to correct it. So this is much lesser than writing the whole notes. And second part is you incorporate actually into it, errors into it, and the answer is the students is to correct it. So this
Yes.
is how you are to evolve progressively to use this technology for better understanding and also use it as a evolving methods of assessment of learning. Tomorrow, this will also call for more interaction, kind of an examination instead of an oral or writing on something on that, or multiple choice type. It could be just quizzes, and the quizzes themselves could be get automated tomorrow by this technology. So there are a whole lot of things emerging, but all these things will emerge once we fully adopt this technology, train the teachers, and have requisite infrastructure into institutions, practice it so that we adopt it fully, so that we get all its benefits. Everything has some kind of a negative as we can talk of, but it also calls for innovations, and those innovations will happen at individual teachers level. And then
Yes.
each of those teachers, if they have a kind of a conference and once in a year, those using into it, I think wonders will happen.
Yes. So, Dr. Sangwan, until now we have been talking very pro-generative AI and pro-generative AI incorporating into education. So, I would like to ask you, what is the biggest potential risk that you see with generative AI being incorporated into education?
Biggest potential threat? What is
Yes.
it?
Yes.
I don't think technology has a threat. At today's time, technology has actually short lifespan. And short lifespan because some kind of a newer technologies they emerge and they substitute it. It's not an improvement, they substitute it. The question is that there is no threat to it, because technology in this third decade of this century, the technology is a reality. Technology drives the whole economics of the world is driven by technology, and technology will find the consumers. These technologies today, by and large, many of them are free because there is a confidence on it, but tomorrow people will be ready to pay for it. And also it also actually this practice, there is a process going on. More data inputs are becoming available for the use of this technology. These data will in turn improve these technologies, their precision and all that, and that's how it will actually grow. It will become more precise, and it will become much better. Many of the concerns with time will be actually addressed. People question on that, something like a creativity is actually being diluted, but there are many aspects of it. Creativity is because there is a different type of creativity when you write it, and there's a creativity when you actually develop a model. So the kind of say something like you give an input to it and you get some creativity, largely done by the technology, but it needs to be actually, this is kind of a rough draft or is a template. It's not final. So it calls for it and it saves your time. It actually makes you not to manage any aspect on it which is missed out of this draft.
Yes. So, sir, I suddenly remembered a very interesting story about data learning, as you were saying. So, there was this one friend of mine who has worked in Amazon, and
Mhm.
he used to work a lot with data. He was a data engineer over there. And as you said, that it's all a part of data learning. Amazon used to conduct surveys. They used to place the color of the button on the Amazon website, and every day they used to change the color of that button just to see that what color is making people click more. So even that minute
Yeah.
amount of data learning is being done in today's time, and
Yeah.
accordingly, product is being pushed towards the consumer.
Yeah. So because basically it looks into consumer preferences, choices, and the behavior, and also
Yes,
there is a changing behaviors as well. Now,
true.
though there are certain colors and certain hues which are of individual preference, but there is also a
Yes,
progressive change. So over the time, I will go ahead with that. So that's how it's a it's a curiosity, and it's a kind of a new things emerge out of it.
yes. Yes, sir. So I think we conclude with our discussion on how generative AI can be incorporated into education.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Dr.
Thank you.
Sangwan. It
Thank you
was
very
a
much. It
pleasure.
was a pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise, sir. Dr. Sangwan, it was a pleasure talking to you as well.